Hi there, YouTube. Bed Bath and Bong's here. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, today's been a good day. I'm finally off work. I have a couple days off now. I plan on spending a little bit with you, my viewers. Thank you again for joining me. I think a lot of the time on these recordings, I want to go for like the big name issues all the time. And I think I'm going to start working on that. I think I'm going to start the show off with some more upbeat, fun stories, as opposed to just hitting you with, like, death and Nazis immediately. Might be a little funner for you guys. I don't know. Yeah, today's been a good day. I'm finally off work. I have a couple days off now. I plan on spending a little bit with you, my viewers. Thank you again for joining me. I think a lot of the time on these recordings, I want to go for like the big name issues all the time. And I think I'm going to start working on that. I think I'm going to start the show off with some more upbeat, fun stories, as opposed to just hitting you with like death and Nazis immediately. Might be a little funner for you guys. I don't know. Let's go ahead and start this off with our customary dab. Oh yeah.
Reached the groundbreaker. Remember that you are not insured.
Ooh-wee. It's nice to get off work and get home and just dab yourself retarded. Let's do this. Muy bueno. Yeah, but to start us off for the day, as we all know, those of us who've looked into the drug war, the DEA, the CIA, they interfere in other countries' affairs all the time, whether it's affecting their laws, their drug laws, or just straight up killing and or kidnapping people to bring back here to the States. They're like crazy serial killers half the time. But yeah, today's a historic day. As of 15 hours ago, this is being reported, Mexico slaps cuffs on the DEA. Mexico's House of Representatives passed a bill on Tuesday aimed at reining in the powers. So apparently this happened yesterday.
You're the expert?
At reining in the powers of foreign
Don't worry on
agents.
the price. I got
Critics say the move is intended to
just
restrict the
do it
role of
proper.
the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency's operations related to the country's drug war, which is well within its rights because it's the U.S.
on account of my
Drug
not being able to
Enforcement
sleep
Agency.
lately.
You should
Makes
be
my hand all
enforcing
twitchy,
drug
you know?
laws
I've just been lying
in the
awake,
U.S.,
thinking about what June May said.
if anywhere.
Oh wow, you remembered.
Legislation is
Well,
being
that's
described as
such,
a series of
right?
reforms to the country's
Okay,
national
line
security
it is.
law, as it was first
Bottoms up.
proposed by Mexican President
Huckleberry wine
Andres
ball.
Manuel
Sweetness to
Lopez
spirits.
Obrador,
Seems like a drink
often known as initials as AMLO,
Just mind how much you
AMLO.
buy.
And ratified last week by the
Oh,
Mexican
this is
Senate, it now becomes
Kinda
law.
nice, actually.
AMLO has
Who'd
framed the
guessed
bill
old
as an
fruit could taste so
attempt to
good?
defend national sovereignty and
Okay,
provide order,
I'm pining for
saying that we need to have clear rules for cooperation with outsiders present
I mean,
on
just-
Mexican soil.
with June May.
In a violation of international
What did you do?
norms, the so-called reform strips U.S. agents of all diplomatic immunity.
Well,
All of
she
these
talked about another girl, right?
DEA, FBI, and other
Isabel.
U.S. agencies would
Mentioned her
no
by name and
longer
everything, like
be
she
allowed to
wanted
act
me
with
to know.
impunity.
Maybe I've been making
The
life
new
for
law will
myself
also
so
force
calm. Maybe she's
agents
not
from the
interested
DEA,
after all.
FBI, and all other agencies to submit whatever intelligence they collect to Mexican officials, who must turn relay the information to federal authorities. Even a phone call
I
or
don't know,
text
I call it,
message sent between U.S. agents and
sensual,
members
that's
of the Mexican
a
government,
lot.
including on the state or local level, would require a written report sent to multiple
I
government
hadn't
departments.
Oh my
Shortly
goodness.
before he stepped down,
I told
former
you.
U.S. Attorney General Bill
As an
Barr
avid
condemned the
reader and
measure,
collector of rare
saying it would have the
tomes,
effect
I
of making
believe I ought to have a
cooperation
look at
between
this
our countries
specimen
more
of literary
difficult
self-expression.
and make the citizens of Mexico and the
It was
U.S.
real long
less
and
safe.
rambly. She was
Bullshit.
telling me a
Fuck
story
you.
about her dad, how a lady named Isabel did
Passage
all
of this
sorts things
legislation
to try to win favor.
legislation can only
This
benefit
Isabel
the
lady never
violent
quite managed to get her dad's
transnational
approval, but
criminal
anyway,
organizations
made
and other
something good out of
criminals
the
that
bad
we are
situation.
jointly fighting,
Then it
Barr
all went
said.
down the tubes. Do you think
Mike
Jim Ray still
Vigil,
has
the
feelings for her?
DEA's former chief international operations, told the Daily
Just
Beast
got a
that
lot of
crime
feelings,
groups
Captain, and
were likely
they're all
delighted at the
climbing up my
news.
throat.
Big news in
I
this
ain't even
entire
Right
process are the
Before I
cartels,
lose
who
my
have
mind.
to be blah blah. This is written by the Daily Beast, what I'm reading, so it's very anti this, but I am fucking
Something
ecstatic.
stronger, I'm
It is
thinking.
time for
I'm still all
Mexican,
tense and weird inside.
for the Mexican government and just South American governments in
All
general,
right. Whiskey.
Central
Woo,
American
that
governments
smells
as
like
well,
an unlawful union between paint thinner and
to
propellant.
refuse
Here we
the
go.
meddling. We're
Oh.
not the world police.
Oh, I'm gonna be
Fucking stop it.
That's a crime, is what that
You
is.
know, if this was a movie, if this was Star Wars, the U.S.
talk to Jim Ray all
government
the
would
time.
clearly be the empire.
Even about silly
Like, we're
things.
going around other countries,
so scared.
making them answer to us, criticizing
everything?
it. Not,
got a
and
solar
I'm pretty
system's
sure
worth
that
of
this
terrifying questions
person
floating
who
around
wrote
my
this
head.
for the Daily Beast,
Does she think
they're
I'm
just
as
a
pretty as I think
fucking
she's handsome?
shill for the intelligence
she's like me.
community. Just
she
a
does.
big
What if she's
cocksucker. What's his
still
name?
got
Jeremy
feelings for that
Crit?
lady, Isabel?
Jeremy Crit.
What if we
I
get
didn't know who
together
you
and
were before this, but
she gets bored
now
of
I
me?
do. You suck. You suck. Kill yourself.
There's nothing easy about spilling your
The
guts
only
to the person
reason
who's got
the
your heart in their
violent
hands.
cartels exist
You know I'm not
is because
interested
the
in
U.S.
this
government has started this
That's-
global drug
Well,
war.
it's tripped folks up.
They've set up the black
cared about
market
me
in a
for
way where, yeah, they're going to be
Well, she's not
violent.
okay with that.
And of course, they're going to
Well,
have
she
the
is, but
monopoly
then
on
later,
drugs.
she's not.
Because we've made drugs so illegal. We've pushed it into the black market.
Of course.
I mean, of course, there's always going to be a
Maybe.
black market, but you don't have to make them so powerful by giving them something as basic as marijuana to profit off of.
I never thought of it
You know,
that way.
between this and legalizing
Maybe Jane's
marijuana,
afraid of being
Mexico
addicted
is
to
on just an awesome
She
path
seems
right
perfect to
now.
me. Maybe those are
Keep
just
going
my
like
rosy
this.
red
I
goggles talking.
fuck people calling
I'm
Mexico a
strong,
third world country. I might rather move
Gosh,
to
I don't know
Mexico.
if I got that in me. Sometimes I
Next
feel
thing I
like
want to
me
talk
inside,
about, of
Captain.
course,
I think
as you all know, I'm a big
generous
proponent for
thoughts.
Medicare for all. We need a universal health
Yeah.
care system,
I
like
like the way
most
you
of the
put that,
civilized
like,
world.
It's okay to want to be better
We have
for
better
her.
health
Not
outcomes.
impossible to try.
Cuba
Captain,
has a
this has
better
been-
health care system than we
This
do.
has been a whole lot. I got just
Fucking Cuba.
wow. So
Their
much
citizens
to
are
think
healthier.
about. Do
You know, it's
think I
funny,
should ask her
recently
on
a conservative friend,
all right.
acquaintance of
No need
mine
to strip your
brought up
springs
the
over.
fact that
Okay. Okay, I'm
Cuba
gonna do it. Right when we get back to the
has
ship.
poor,
Ship.
kind of a
I mean,
racist argument, to be honest,
probably.
but has poor gene
Thanks for hearing me out
diversification
and giving me counsel.
because of the U.S.
And,
embargo
well,
and the fact that it's an
for being a
island
friend.
cut off from everybody.
It means a whole lot.
So basically, they're just a
You're
big
good people.
incestuous island of
Well,
mutants.
it's not like I could be elsewhere.
And no one should
Nor
ever
am I
want to be
capable of
Cuba.
neglecting a wayward lad in need of
And they
guidance.
drive shitty 50s cars that they have to
All right.
constantly modify.
Thank you guys. You're real good friends. You know that?
Whew.
I wish.
Damn, dripping with
wish there was a
contempt
place
for
we could all
Cuban
live
people.
quiet
I
together.
honestly, Cuba
Come
seems
on,
nice.
let's go.
Their people actually live longer than us. They have a almost 100% home ownership rate. No one's homeless. Can you imagine? Almost no one being homeless. Said people who live here in Tucson, you'll know there's fucking homeless all over the place. Doped out homeless walking around like zombies because they have nowhere to go and they don't have any health care to get off the smack.
I am perfectly fit, my...
It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But yeah, moving on.
knees, John.
Cuba excels compared to us in many ways. I want to do an entire video just on Cuba and Che Guevara and Fidel Castro. Not that I like Fidel Castro a lot. He's one of my least favorite characters in those stories, but it'll be a fun video. But recently there's been a squabble between Jimmy Dore and a lot of progressives and AOC. Not that AOC's really addressed Jimmy Dore. She's addressed a football player who has pretty good views on stuff. I don't remember his name. Justin. Same name as me. Justin, and I'm sorry, I'm spacing on his last name. Say it's like Williams. Medicare for all, Justin. NFL player. Justin Jackson, not Williams. Sorry, Justin. And the fact that Jimmy Dore feels like AOC should pressure Pelosi to bring Medicare for all to the floor by withholding her vote and all of the progressives withholding their vote for her if she doesn't. Which I love the idea, because I can't stand Pelosi. She's just a horrible, corrupt old lady. I think much like Dianne Feinstein, she is covering up a lot of mental issues. I don't think conservatives are making up all of these different clips where she seems to be losing her mind. And AOC's been making her point is that a lot of Democrats have signed up for Medicare for All as far as the co-sponsor list. But that she doesn't have the political strength to bring it to the floor as is, which is a pretty weak answer overall. That was more or less what her point was. It feels pretty weak to me. And then I saw something recently too in a podcast she went on.
Welcome back, Captain.
She noted that she feels like there's no one strong enough to take on the House speech. I can name 5 people off the top of my head that I'd rather have as a speaker than fucking Nancy Pelosi. I'd rather have AOC up there. I'd rather have any number. Almost anyone, to be honest.
Yes, Captain.
The only one on my list that I can think of maybe is like Joe Manchin, but I can't remember if he's a congressman or a senator. But either way, I can't stand that piece of garbage. But yeah, I mean, I don't agree with Jimmy Dore on everything. He does tend to be a leader of the rebel-rousing mob. I kind of like that a lot of the time, because I do feel like Americans need to get together and organize and be more pissed off about the way things are. I don't claim to be a political genius or an insider, so I don't know exactly how that would work in the moment politically, his idea. But I mean, overall, I think it would be better than what we're doing. Democrats, I feel like they back down in everything. They're weak. They're squiggly spined, except for maybe like a handful of them, and it's disappointing. I just found an amazing story. So I've spoken in the past about how there's right-wing organizations like Project Veritas who have been caught committing crimes in the past, bribing officials, bribing people to lie. And it's already been happening with this whole Biden stole the election thing that's going around. All this fervor that you Trumpies are up in. Look at this amazing story. An ex-cop held an AC repairman at gunpoint over a false claim he had 750,000 fake ballots, police said. An air conditioning repairman was driving his truck through Houston in late October when suddenly a black SUV. So this happened in fucking October. Alright? Before the election even happened. Before the fervor. suddenly a black SUV slammed into his tail. When he got out, the SUV's driver leaped out and pointed a gun at his head, police said. When police arrived, the gunman offered an incredible tale. The driver, he said, was the face of a vast election fraud scheme and had about 750,000 fake ballots stuffed inside his truck. The story was totally bogus, police now say. Man's truck was full of nothing but AC parts, and the gunman, Mark Anthony Aguirre, I believe that's how you say that, former Houston Police Department captain, had been paid more than $250,000 by a right-wing organization to pursue far-fetched voter fraud conspiracy theories. On Tuesday, Aguirre was arrested and charged with felony aggravated assault with a deadly weapon as part of a bogus voter fraud conspiracy. The Harris County District Attorney's Office announced a news release. Crossed the line from dirty politics to commission of a violent crime, and we are lucky no one was killed, Harris County Democratic District Attorney Kim Ogg said in a statement. An attorney for Aguirre, 63, who disputed the charges, claiming to KTRK that the case is political. I think it's a political prosecution, I really do, his attorney, Terry Yates, told KTRK. He was working investigating voter fraud, and there was an accident. A member of the car got out and rushed at him, and that's when the confrontation took place. It's very different from what you're citing in the affidavit. The bizarre tale of Aguirre's alleged assault came as President Donald Trump and his allies continue spreading baseless claims, mass election fraud, and features a direct tie to a group of Texas Republicans who unsuccessfully sued to toss out nearly 127,000 Harris County ballots. Police said that Aguirre had received 266,400 votes from the Liberty Center for God and Country, a Houston-based organization funded by Republican mega-donors. I just want to re-say that because I'm pretty sure I fucked that up. $266,000 and then $400. The group CEO is Stephen Hotsey, a prominent Texas right-wing activist who joined other GOP activists in the ballot lawsuit filed in late October. His alleged investigation was backward from the start, first alleging a crime had occurred, and then trying to prove it happened, Ogg said of Aguirre's work. Aguirre spent 24 years in the Houston Police Department, the Houston Chronicle reported, before he was fired in 2003 for his role in a failed raid in a department store's parking lot. The strange case involving the air conditioning repairman, who wasn't named by police, began in mid-October, police said, when Aguirre called the Texas Attorney General's office asking authorities to conduct a traffic stop for his personal investigation. When a lieutenant told Aguirre that he could not get police involved, Aguirre responded that he would conduct the traffic stop himself and make a citizen's arrest, according to court records. Then around 5:30 a.m. on October 19th, Aguirre rammed the man's trunk, ordered the man to get on the ground, placed a knee on his back, and held a gun to him. Unnamed associates of Aguirre then searched his repair truck and drove it away. When officers arrived, he still had his knee on the man's back, and he told the officer that him and him were friends who were investigating a voter fraud conspiracy, operated by the man at his home and inside a backyard shed. I just hope you're a patriot, Aguirre told the officer interviewing him, the affidavit said. But police said that Aguirre's allegations didn't check out and found no evidence of voter fraud or ballot harvesting after the technician allowed them to check his property. There were no ballots in the truck. It was filled with air conditioning parts and tools. Following an investigation by the Houston Police Department and Harris County Election Security Task Force, Aguirre's claims of election fraud were found to be baseless. Despite claims made by Trump and other conservatives, courts and law enforcement have found no evidence of any widespread fraud in November elections. All lawsuits filed by the president's legal team have been tossed out in multiple states. Aguirre was released after he posted a bond of $30,000. He is expected back in court on Thursday, court records show.
Oh, come on. That stuff's
Isn't that
boring.
fucking amazing? This
Look,
is
the thing
the
I've learned
modus
about living in close
operandi
quarters is that you've
of
gotta
these
give
scum
people room to
suckers.
breathe.
They make up
I'm all for
evidence
making a
and then
few
swirl
bits
it
together and
around
having
and keep
fun doing
reusing it
but
even
let's
after
keep a
it's
little professional
debunked
distance.
to try and give them
No
some sort
complaints
of
here.
credibility. It's fucking gross, and it
to see you,
ended in
boss.
someone like being
Didn't I tell
physically
you?
harassed with a
I'm
gun in
secretly
this
the chairman's
case.
orphan child, abandoned at birth in the back
Good
bays.
job, idiots.
Honestly, before you picked
Alright,
me up,
now that
I
I've
was living in the back bays.
riled
Spent my
myself
whole
up
life
into a
up there,
frothing
watching
rage, I'm
ships
gonna go
roll
ahead
in and
and
take off.
take another
I
dab,
always
which
wondered when
mostly
my
I've
ship
been
would
smoking
come.
on the Oreos
I was what
so
folks
far,
in the
which
groundbreaker
is
call
how
a
I
stowaway.
which
Means I was
should be
invisible.
calming.
Life carried on for everybody else.
Next
but
story is gonna be
not
pretty
for
fun
me.
too. It's about
I had to make my own
lab-grown
way.
meat. So I just want to confirm,
Stowaways ain't
it's
free.
not like veggie
We were
meat.
just as
It's
trapped as
not like
anybody else.
black bean
We
burgers.
didn't belong in the system, but we still had to live in it.
It's not like that
We
Beyond
still had
Meat
to play by the
shit
board's
that they sell at
rules.
Burger King,
Imagine
what
spending your
have
whole
you.
life looking out at the stars.
It's
And know
lab-grown
you could
meat, so
never aspire to be
scientists
anything more than a box hauler.
figured out
That's what it's like.
building blocks
Hauling
to what the
boxes
fuck
was about
meat
the only work I
is,
could find.
and they
Hated
can
every
grow
second
it
of it.
in a
Foreman
lab
and I never
as
got on.
opposed to
Could be I was overreacting.
creating a
A
bean
better man might
to
have
cut
turned
it
the other
off of.
cheek. Exercised a little bit of that, what's the word?
It's a lot more complex than
Restraint?
that, but that's as much as I can
But
dumb
on
it
the other
down.
hand, broadsiding the jackass with a tossball stick?
So
that
it's like
felt
some
good.
next level
That
shit.
felt real good. You ought to try it. That's what I like about you, boss. You got a mean swing. I caught a real
And
lucky
they
break.
just
If you hadn't
introduced
picked me
it
up, I'd still be back
for
at
the
the
first-
docks, waiting for the day my ship arrives. Yeah,
to
I
the
guess my
first
ship did
menu
arrive in the end.
at a restaurant.
Thanks for listening, boss. Let's get going.
This is in Singapore. Lab-grown chicken will make its debut at a Singapore restaurant in a culinary first this weekend, after the company behind the product announced its inaugural sale Wednesday. U.S. startup Eat just said earlier this month that product had been approved for sale in the city-state as an ingredient in chicken nuggets after Singapore became the first country to allow meat created without slaughtering any animals to be sold. Consumption of animals is an environmental threat as cattle produce potent greenhouse gas methane, while logging
What
to
are we
create
contemplating
pastures
today?
destroys natural barriers against climate change. When they sometimes to log, it's not just for wood.
course.
For
Are you
those of
ready
you
to
that
break
don't
into
know,
security on the
sometimes
groundbreaker?
it's just to clear out space for farming.
If I can access the data
And they
cartridge
still
from the
use
terminal
the
in
wood.
security, I can easily hack into their
Obviously.
arrivals and departures.
On Wednesday, the company said its first
That'll
commercial
give us
sale of the
dates,
product to
times, and the
1880, a
crew
restaurant
manifests
in
for every
Robertson
registered ship.
Quay, a
I'll comb the last 6
post-Riverside
months of
Entertainment
departure
Center.
manifests to track the philosopher's
Eat Just Chief Executive Josh Tetrick said the news
Before I
moves
transferred to
us
Edgewater, I
closer
had a
to a
wealth of
world
time to develop
where the
certain,
majority of meat we eat will not
secular
require
skills
tearing
during my
down a
years
single
serving a
forest,
particular
displacing a single
penitentiary
animal's
flock.
habitat, or using
I
a single
meditated,
drop
led
of
sermons,
antibiotics.
provided guidance to the inmates as
The
needed.
restaurant will start serving it
I
from
also
Saturday, the
played
company
prison
said.
yard tossball
3
and
cultured
taught
chicken
myself a
dishes
bit
will
about
be served,
computronic
each
security
bite
systems.
influenced by a top chicken producing country in the world: China, Brazil, and the United States, the statement added. This is a very exciting collaboration for me, said Colin Buchan, the restaurant's executive chief, who used to cook for footballer David Beckham. I think people are going to love it. Demand for sustainable meat alternatives is rising due to growing pressure from consumers about the environment and animal welfare, but other products in the market are plant-based. Meat consumption is projected to increase more than 70% by 2050, and lab-grown alternatives have a role to play in ensuring a secure food supply, the company said. There were concerns that lab-grown varieties would be too expensive, but a spokesman for Eat Just said the company had made considerable progress in lowering the cost. Singapore, the high-tech city-state, has become a hub for the development of sustainable foods, with startups producing goods ranging from lab-grown seafood to dumplings made with tropical fruit instead of pork. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of sounds good. Dumplings made from tropical fruit? So that's something to ponder out there. Would you eat lab-grown meat? going to put out a poll. It's going to read as this. A. Yes, I would love to eat lab-grown meat. B. No. That's gross. I don't want to turn into a zombie. Or C. Depends how high I am. And all that being said, I think I'm about done for the night. I'm starting to slur my words. I'm pretty tired. I am going to take another dabberoonie, though, and wish you all a good night. Merry Vlogmas. Merry Christmas. Hashtag. All that good stuff.